Tonight we start with pre-dinner drinks here at the Coburg Bar, tucked away inside the Connaught Hotel in Mayfair. With its rich velvet armchairs, dark wood panelling, and soft candlelight, the Coburg Bar exudes understated luxury. The space has a timeless elegance that feels both classic and contemporary. The bar is known for its expertly crafted cocktails, spirits, and an incredible whiskey selection, offering a perfect spot to unwind before an extraordinary evening tonight at Sketch. Tucked away in a grand 18th century townhouse in Mayfair, Sketch is one of London's most avant-garde dining destinations. Founded in 2002 by restaurateur Mourad Mazouz and legendary French chef Pierre Gagne, Sketch is more than just a restaurant. It's a multi-sensory experience that fuses fine dining with cutting-edge design and contemporary art, with 5 distinct spaces, each offering its own unique atmosphere. Born in Algeria, Mourad Mazouz is a creative force in the restaurant world. His approach is all about blending art, culture, and cuisine, pushing the boundaries of traditional fine dining. Sketch's ever-changing design is a reflection of Mazouz's dedication to innovation. Over the years, he has collaborated with artists such as India Madhavi, the same designer as the very room we're sitting in right now, David Shrigley, and Yinka Shonibare, ensuring the venue remains one of London's most visually striking places. Pierre Gagne is one of the world's most celebrated chefs and one of only 4 chefs globally to currently hold 3 Michelin stars at multiple restaurants. Known for his avant-garde take on classic French cuisine, Gagne creates dishes that are poetic, unpredictable, and deeply flavorful. His global empire includes acclaimed restaurants in Tokyo, Paris, Dubai, Las Vegas, and Hong Kong, each bringing his signature blend of artistry and technique to an international audience. In 2015, he was named the best chef in the world by Le Chef magazine, a testament to his profound influence on modern gastronomy. While Pierre oversees the culinary vision, the day-to-day operations are run by executive chef Daniel Stucki. With years of experience working alongside Gagne, Stucki brings the chef's signature avant-garde approach to life, ensuring every dish is executed with remarkable skill and creativity. The lecture room and library at Sketch earned its first Michelin star in 2005, a second in 2012, and its third in 2019, making it one of only a handful of 3-star restaurants in the UK. Gagne's approach is all about pushing boundaries with multi-dish courses that showcase complexity, precision, and bold flavours. So let's step into this whimsical 3-star wonderland where food, art, and design collide. Before heading off, I'm starting the night with a martini made using Moroccan gin, a bold twist on the classic to set the tone for this evening.
After the 1 year, they ship the champagne to Brittany and they lower it in cages, 60 meters below the sea level. So the idea is keeping the wine at the same pressure outside and inside the bottle.
This dining room is just so insane. You just walk in and it's just wow. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's loud. There is a lot going on. There's drapes, there's mirrors. This ceiling is so grand. Stained glass window. Very interesting chandelier with fabric, with tassels, plush carpets with the vibrant colours. The armchairs, by the way, these are so comfortable. They're not as bright as the pictures make it look. Gorgeous glassware from Lalique. Even the little table stand where I put my bag is so intricately designed. Inlaid with mother of pearl, really lovely design. Just continuing on that theme of the avant-garde, yet at the same time when you're sat at the table's almost very minimalist. Lovely white tablecloth. The staff are all very formally dressed, yet so far they're being friendly, very open, very accommodating. There was some kind of issue with my reservation, but they got that ironed out. Tonight's menu offers a 3-course a la carte for £235 or a 7-course tasting menu for £225. Wine pairings, there's the classic at £165 or a special treat pairing at £395. I went with the tasting menu option and maybe a few other surprises along the way. Let's just say tonight's going to be a little more than just 7 courses.
Starting on the silvers, we have the turnip ice cream centered with horseradish and grape. Sunday, almond and parmesan cheese and some pomegranate.
Buttery, nutty, that burst of pomegranate, perfect.
Then the toile with fermented celery, served with a little bit of pickled apple and wasabi mayonnaise.
your crispy shell, your suji.
The cacawajo from artichoke served with genma. On the mussel, you will find a mustard vinaigrette with some buckwheat and coriander.
Fresh, it's seafoody, the lovely spices going on.
And we have the red kiwi with pepper.
That's really interesting. Obviously, I've never had kiwi that tastes like that. There was no acidity, there was no sharpness. The texture of the kiwi was the only thing that was reminiscent of a kiwi, and the rest of it was just the spices that was going on.
Granny Smith apple with shiso.
There was sweetness, there was acidity.
The metro date with hazelnut.
Rich, it's creamy.
And the lightly smoked duck breast with 4 bite coatings. The avocado fur with cooked vanilla line.
And then for the final one, looks very pretty. Definitely is overwhelming that they bring so much stuff to the table at once, but it's good food, I'm not complaining. Yeah, after this, I'm not sure I need the tasting menu. Dude, these armchairs are so comfy. So comfy.
We have over there some roasted caraway seeds, polo citrus, and the salted butter. This is a brioche, as well as this crackers with cumin and nigella seeds, which is our chef Pierre Gagna's logo, meaning a table.
Well, following on from the theme of the ridiculous number of amuse-bouche, next is the bread and butter service. To start, we have 3 different butters. And then look at this brioche. Look at that shine on that. I mean, the bread is just bread. Nothing special. The brioche looks better than it tastes. The crack, on the other hand, is a vessel in which to consume the butter. It's so thin, it's so crisp, it's barely there. It's got that lovely touch of salt there as well.
Here we go with something from Burgundy, from the Chablis area. Here we're speaking about the oldest vines in the Petit Chablis area. A lot of concentration and complexity and depth. A lot of fresh minerality typical of the limestone soil. Here we'll be on the Portland soil.
We're going to start your journey with the zebra on the main plate. Your served as a tartar. What you will find there as well is the people's à la marinière and Chablis wine bill. On your left, the oyster, served with the ginger sabayon with some herb cauliflower. And what you will find here is the real raisin hands. They are served with the leeks and mustard.
Okay, this is going to take some getting used to. There's a lot going on. It's fresh, it's firm. The architecture coming from those buckwheat grains. The flavours from this sea bream are very classical French, especially from that sauce. Here we go. Oyster, cauliflower and ginger. You know my thoughts on oysters. The texture is still not for me. However, the cauliflower provides that earthiness, the ginger provides that slight acidity. Overall, the flavour profile I enjoyed. The mustard's really, really subtle, only exists really in the background. The leeks though do give that lovely texture, kind of that oniony flavour to cut through it all.
Corton Charlemagne, Grand Cru from Etienne de La. You have a little more less power, less body into the wine. And here we have the oak that is not going to be too intrusive.
Lobster, and served in 3 different ways. On your main plate, we'll find the tail poached in a tarragon butter, served with celery with a little bit sherbet. On your leg, as a royale, which is a flan style, almost like a custard with the white strawberry juice. And then you'll find a dehydrated apple, filled with a rehab made with the bog, with a bit of grapefruit and juice.
Okay, this is just so overwhelming. I don't know how to describe this. It's like nothing I've experienced before in terms of everything is just being go, go, go. I know I said in the intro, multi-courses, but it's with the cutlery. So far, they've been using the same cutlery through every course. It is extremely polished. It is very well looked after. Texture of the lobster is perfect. Those little celeriac batons add that perfect texture and earthiness. The sauce, get the tarragon, the freshness coming through that, and there's also a slight hint of curry spices. Next up is this lobster flan. Very interesting dish. Most prominent flavour there is the strawberry. Very, very slight hint of seafoodiness coming through in the background. If I was blindfolded, this could almost be a dessert. It could be like a strawberry panna cotta. No tartness, just the pure sweetness of the strawberries coming through. So the lobster now is almost a kind of lobster salad, creamy, smaller chopped pieces, amazing sweetness coming from the apple.
What you will find in the middle is that veal sweetbread, caramelized, served with some Swiss chard with glazed lettuce. You'll find also some candied celery stick poured the truffle. Now, the scallop. Truffle will be grilled along the scallop, priestly sauce served with pistachio. On your right, the burrata served with the carbonara, but also the Petit truffle chop.
So many courses going on here.
So we're soufflé with Comté. The Comté is aged for 36 months, so it has the sorbet with the tokiapo. It's the Jerusalem ostrich, so the sauce is
So this is one of the supplement courses. This is the truffle supplement.
The little last from us. There was a little misunderstanding in the booking. Very unusual, but an apologies. Red Bordeaux. Here we are speaking about the Chateau Le Carme Aubrey. The wine always has a majority of Cabernet Franc. Here the Cabernet Franc dominates. Wines are also aged in concrete, a new wave of Bordeaux.
Caramelization coming off those sweetbreads, the outer crust, that crispiness inside. It's soft, it's smooth, it's supple, it's creamy. The black truffle adds that earthiness, and then there's the crunch and different texture coming from those little bits of, I'm not sure if they're seeds or nuts, and the bits of cabbage. That sauce with the sweetbreads, it's syrupy, caramel-like. They didn't skimp with the black truffle. Then again, I have no idea what this course costs. It's got that cheesiness to it. It's not too pungent. It's not overempowering. It's very Moorish. You could eat a lot of that. It's soft. It's fluffy. It's moist. It has a slight sharpness coming through at the end. The burrata, it's light. It's milky. It's creamy. Very soft in texture. Slightly wet. Shrimp provide the texture to it. Very slight sweetness coming from the jam. The burrata and shrimp isn't my favorite. Portion size is too big. There's just a lot of wet, slimy mess. This is a kind of dish that would be perfect. One spoonful, one bite would have sufficed for me on this. Moving on to the scallop, which is absolutely gorgeous. They've taken the scallop and they've cut it and layered it with truffle. I mean, that is a work of art. You get that very light sweetness, but mostly overpowered by truffle, the sauce, the creaminess, the nuttiness, and those whole pieces of pistachio in there as well. Add that really lovely texture. I'm getting slightly worried. There's so much food in each course that I am starting to get full quite a bit faster than I used to. And I went and ordered 2 of his signature courses. How crazy is this room though? So insane, the high ceilings, it's so grand, it's exquisite, it's maximalist.
With a rosé wine, produced called Clos-Cibon. It's called the Hommage Camarius from the vintage 2018. All these wines are almost 100% Tibouret.
New Year with the caramelized Brasco gratinated with Montgomery cheddar. You'll have some pickled onion on top and the galette made with the onions as well. Then the Dorset snails a la Baudelaire.
Trying snails for the first time, so cheers. Sweetness from the onion, the sourness from the sauce, the meatiness from the snails. Very true, it's almost kind of like a chewy piece of beef, but it's not excessively chewy, and always has a slight grassiness to it at the end. It starts off with a meatiness, then mellows out. The different textures of the onion as well. There's the slow cooked, caramelized sweet onion. There's the acidic pickled onion. There is a slight aftertaste coming from the snails. That rosé pairs amazingly. It's mellow, it's fruity, it's sweet. For reference, we are 4 courses into this tasting menu. This onion dish was the first course we've gotten that came on a single plate. I appreciate that.
The second bread selection is the Taquibo.
Well, you heard that right. We just got a second bread service. And this one is buckwheat, walnuts. It's quite firm, it's quite dense. There's a lovely crispiness from the outer crust. That crispiness is insane. Despite the bread appearing to be dense, it's light, it's fluffy. There's these lovely pieces of walnut running through there. The crunch on that is sublime.
A wine coming from the Loire Valley. We are in the area by Anjou. We have a Savennier. We have Thibaut Bourguignon here. Here again, biodynamic and natural for winemaking.
On your main thing, what you'll find here is the Dogueso Coupe Dominaire. This is rolled in the buckwheat crab bit with some black chalk. Underneath spinach village, we have the cute of real cassonade with also some smoke around chest butts. What you'll find here is an apple faux served with the braised turnips.
And we are back onto the multi-courses. Doversol looks beautiful, lovely crispy skin. Ugh. It's flaky, it's buttery, the skin is crispy, there's a creaminess and earthiness coming from the spinach. Those little cubes of the cuttlefish adds more of a texture to the dish than flavour. It adds that freshness, the acidity, the crunchy textures from the turnips, balances out that fish dish perfectly.
Very clear, yellow label, but here is not the classic yellow. Prestige Cuvée of the Maison. Here we have a Pinot Noir base, nice depth of flavors.
A few hours in, these armchairs, I've not gotten up yet. Plush, comfortable armchairs. They're a bit hideous on their own. Within the frame of the room and the whole vibe, they fit in absolutely perfectly.
That's good. This is one of our most refreshing courses. It's almost like a cocktail style. We'll have a rosé champagne granita, underneath hibiscus jelly, which in fresh butter.
You got to hold it to eat it. It's difficult to eat off it. So it's another one of those not what you expect palate cleansers, but when you hear the words champagne granita, hibiscus jelly, blood orange, and you think, okay, there's going to be a sweetness, there's a sourness, there's acidity. There is no sweetness. There's actually a heavy bitterness from that. It's so interesting how well it works all together. The different temperatures, the different textures, the different flavors. The only constant theme running through that dish is bitterness, bitterness, and bitterness. And yet I still love it.
Next course, it's gonna be a line.
There's another course.
Yes.
Oh, I thought the palate cleanser, that's it. It's pre-dessert. Just...
No.
Wow, okay. We're gonna...
Still a long run, eh?
I'm here.
It's one of the white wines that makes me the most. That's the power of Sancerre, the vibrancy, brightness, the flavor. There is no inter-oxidation, incredibly fresh.
We'll have here the langoustine, 5 different ways. For your medley, you will find the tails roasted in a licorice bernazet, some hazelnut, but also both the green and the white cast winter. On your left, served as a classic bisque with a poached langoustine legs, but underneath you will find the scallop zamzam with some plankton powder. This tail is tempura. Daikon, we have coriander, potato galette with a little bit of seaweed. The royale, that it is the same style as that you've had with the lobster. However, this is a little bit lighter in texture and it's served with the cube from aloe. And you'll have the tails roast. We also have cold dough with a citrus caramel sticky rice.
This is another one of the dishes from the a la carte menus, the langoustine dish in true Pierre Gagne style, 5 different dishes. The langoustine is beautifully cooked. The first flavoured profile that comes is that nuttiness, the crunchiness from the seaweeds. And they did say it was kind of a licorice sauce. I'm not getting those notes of licorice. I'm not the biggest fan of licorice, so that flavour for me, the aniseed, is quite distinctive. I'm not really guessing that at all. The bisque with the langoustine legs. That bisque is deep, it's rich, it's umami, it's seafoody. I'm not sure this semicircle is, but I believe she said it was made through scallops. Not a fan of that texture. I find it too gelatinous. The flavour profile, on the other hand, had that sweetness, just that gelatinous texture. It's just not for me. Next up, we're going to have this, kind of like a fried something. Beautiful crunch from that fried outer shell, slight pepperiness coming through. Almost wish there was a touch of citrus on that. That royale, whilst the flavours were amazing, that element of the dish wasn't for me. I keep going back to that bisque. It's delightful. Next up, it's absolutely gorgeous, softly poached in olive oil. It's fresh, it's acidic, it's citrusy, it's vibrant. It changes things up amongst the 5 langoustine dishes that were being served. Sticky rice, find that it's more for a texture, not really getting much flavour off that.
And here we have a Chateau de la Tour that's considered one of the best winemakers. Clos Vougeot is the biggest Grand Cru in terms of surface, around 50 hectares. Beautiful wine with a nice kind of spiciness almost on the back of the palate.
I feel so full. I feel like a proper food coma here.
For your main course, we're using with the non-assumed foie gras that also on top of the pan-fried foie gras. Next to it, you will find the rice galette made with a little bit of sesame. You'll find some lemongrass. On top, some raisin, pistachio, and a quince paste. So you'll find the chicken stew angele with some bitter leaves on it.
The texture from that chicken ballantine is smooth, it's buttery, it's creamy. Right towards the end of it, there is a slight dryness coming from it, which I don't understand because everything is so moist. The foie gras, gorgeous creaminess to it, just melts on your tongue. Fragrant, it's flavorful, it's deep, it's rich, it's fatty, it's creamy. Foie gras is always going to be a favorite of mine. That rice galette provides a lovely chewy texture to it. There's the sweetness from the sultanas. Those burnt caramelized edges of the galette provide this lovely sweetness and caramelization which really cut through all the fattiness of the dish. That hodgepodge of thigh on the side, it's almost like a congealed chicken broth. However, the texture is just not for me. Even with the bitterness of those leaves cutting through the fattiness, I personally am not enjoying it.
Elegant, simple selection. So the first one, the magala, it's one of those cheeses that is made with the excess milk of Roquefort. So it is a used milk, a sheep's milk. It's soft, it's elegant, not too much on the brassica notes already. The second one in the middle is one of the best English cheeses made. It is the Bix. So this is also a triple cream cheese. And then the Old Brundle, aged for 22 months. It's a cow's milk, and this has a lot of sweetness, toffee-like, and also the crystals here are quite present.
First up, this sheep's milk cheese. It's runny, it's soft, it's light, it's creamy. I should say with that one that they add double cream to it. It's much sweeter, it's much fresher. That sharpness and funkiness kind of comes on at the end. It's sharp, it's not funky at all. Let's taste the pear jelly. This is running in the theme of French food. This is quite gelatinous as well. Onion jam. Oh. Oh. I think my face says it all. You kind of have an onion jam. Almost expect it to be slow cooked, caramelized, very heavy sweetness coming through. And there's more acidity than there is sweetness. It's like the kind of face where I make Ray take a bite out of a lemon.
Here we have a Sauterne 1961 Chateau d'Arche Semillon for a touch of Sauvignon Blanc, aged in French oak.
It's the chocolate souffle, chocolate ice cream, and the ganache flavor with whiskey. On the side, we had the grapefruit marmalade with vanilla biscuit and the burrata with pomegranate. The panna cotta with sugar thrill, the chocolate with fleur de sel, salt flakes, and hazelnut. The roasted caramelized pear with Bronte pistachio. The bava with hibiscus, grapefruit, and licorice. With the roasted apple, served with black garlic, passion fruit, and rocket. The coriander parfait with fennel granité and mango.
There's no way I'm finishing this.
At least try and rip it.
Obviously, I've ordered the souffle, which is a supplement, but outside of that, there's 7 different desserts, which is just so insane. Chocolate souffle. This is runny. So much going on, from textures to temperatures, flavors. There's the fluffy texture. There's a crunchiness from the cacao nibs. There's that thick, decadent, rich chocolate sauce. Indulgent, very rich. There's no way I can finish this. There's also dusting on the top of the cocoa powder. I'm finding that's getting caught in my throat. Other than that, this is impeccable. Next up, we have grapefruits. Mushrooms cognac sablé. The grapefruit, it's either been candied or macerated. There's only sweetness coming from it. Little to no acidity and definitely no bitterness at all. Next up, we have pomegranate and burrata. This is not pure burrata, more like an ice cream made of burrata. Acidity comes from the pomegranate seeds, work perfectly with the cheese. That's herby, it's creamy, it's fruity, the mango's not overly sweet. That one tastes like eating just the filling from a frangipane tart. Almonds, marzipan, loads of sweetness coming through that. Slight bit of citrus coming from something on the end. Intense sweetness coming through from the pear. The pistachios are toasted to perfection. This was kind of like hazelnut chocolate praline. The chocolate used in this dessert, really dark, intense, bitter. There's a nice saltiness coming through the end of that. This is the baba. Really boozy. That is so tart. There's an intense passion fruit flavor coming through there. It's like a palate cleanser. I've definitely overindulged.
I've never seen an order that big. You managed well.
They've never seen an order that big from one person. You heard it here.
Defeated.
I really am. It doesn't normally happen, but here we are. Hey, there's a first for everything. Thank God for a double espresso. Also came with like a couple of little chocolate pieces. Of course I'm going to try them because they put them in front of me. There's a chocolate, caramel.
So we have Turkish Delight, the gingerbread and cranberries,
Actual pieces of candied ginger in there.
and pumpkin and nougat.
Here we are at the last bite of tonight after an absolute overindulgent decadent meal, pumpkin and nougatine. Between the tasting menu, a few unexpected additions and some exquisite wines, the final bill for myself came to just over £1,200. Is the next day. I did film an outro last night after dinner. However, I just wasn't feeling comfortable and a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about and discuss, I didn't manage to say. First things first, when I turned up, my reservation was not on the system. I could see on their system they had my name wrong, so therefore I knew they had my email address wrong, so I never got this email. That being said, I was told to take a seat, and just a few moments later, I was taken upstairs to the dining room, where they had prepared for me a table. With all that aside, from the moment you step off the street through that curtain, you are transported into a completely chaotic universe where art and everything collides. There's the hopscotch on the floor, the bold colours, incredible artwork, immaculately dressed staff. The dining room? Well, from an outsider's perspective of just seeing pictures of it, it can come across as quite garish, a bit over the top. When you step through those doors, there's a complete wow factor to it. And as you sit down, you start to feel a part of it all. It all comes together really well. The chairs as well are quite possibly the most comfortable chairs I have ever been sat in during a dining experience. You could doze off in those easily. So I was there for 5.5 hours. I only got up once, and at no point did I feel any kind of discomfort. The longer you sit there, the more of the finer, intricate details you notice. The mouldings in the ceilings, the textures in the walls, the chandeliers, the tassels, the mirrors. There's so much. The staff are professional, well-dressed, unobtrusive, friendly, and very stealthy. On multiple occasions, I'd finish with a glass of wine, I'd put the glass on the table, perhaps look to my side, looked around the room, and I didn't even notice the staff members coming by to remove the glasses. I looked back on the table, and it was gone. The first couple of times it happened, I thought perhaps I was imagining things, and then it kept happening again and again and again. You barely noticed their presence at all. Pretty much the entire menu was served by a single staff member, which I found to be absolutely incredible. The menu is extremely extensive, with pretty much every single course having multiple dishes, many elements, and they're rattling off 30 plus different elements, which I find incredible. And then when I was going back and I was pointing, I was like, okay, so what was this again? What was this? Because I wasn't remembering, and they just pointed it instantly and go through all the various elements in the dishes. For me, the service was one of the real highlights. And now, to talk about the food. Well, to start with is my confession. I was overindulgent and I acted like a glutton. And that's why I'm doing the intro today, because last night I felt awful. So in other establishments I've been to where they have a tasting menu and an a la carte option, many times they'll tell you that you can have the tasting menu and you can pick a couple of the signature dishes. That is what I generally do. Here, I went for the tasting menu and I asked them prior, is there anything you recommend? They did warn me that there's a lot of food. And I went and I took the tasting menu and 3 supplement courses, the langoustine, the truffle, and the chocolate souffle. In terms of quantity of food on a tasting menu, I have never seen anything like this before. 10 different amuse-bouches, 8 different desserts. With every single course, there was multiple dishes, with the exception of one course. Onion with the snails was the only course that came 1 plate to the table. And if I'm being entirely honest, the multi-dish courses was quite overwhelming at times. They bring stuff to the table and then they start pouring sauces and then they meander off to the middle and they start bringing more plates and I'm sitting there, I'm trying to decide what do I eat first in terms of temperature, what's going to be optimal. Do I start with one dish? Do I move to another? Do I finish one dish before going on to the other? And there's so much going on. Do all the dishes complement each other on the multi-dish course? No, they don't. Some of them have very different textures and flavours. With that being said, the flavours, the textures, some of the textures I did not enjoy. There was the raw oyster. I still don't get it. It's like a piece of sea snot. And then there was the various gelatinous textures. While I did not enjoy the textures of 3 of the 4 jelly dishes, the lobster one actually worked because there was a sauce on top of the flan. For me, it feels weird eating savoury jellied foods. That being said, the flavours were immaculate. Those I still enjoyed. It was purely the texture it couldn't get behind. My favourite dish from the tasting menu, the Dover sole, and then overall from all the dishes I'd ordered, the truffle dish. The sweetbreads, the cheese souffle, the scallops layered with the truffle were really incredible. If you do decide to come here, just go for the tasting menu. You will walk out completely full. I look back at what I got yesterday, that could have easily fed 2 people. Towards the end, I was just having little tasters from dishes. I wasn't eating full courses. I did receive complimentary a glass of wine with one of my supplement courses, my souffle and coffee, which I very much appreciate. Afterwards as well, it was nice. They offered to show me around. I just wanted to see these toilets. Like people tell me about the way the toilets are. You walk into this room and there's a club in the middle and then there's stairs on either side and then there's the pods. Not my vibe at all. And as usual, thank you for joining me and on to the next one. Goodbye.